today's text is going to be coming from John 15, verses 1 through 12. Brother Garen is going to read that for me.
So John chapter 15, verses 1 through 12. I am the true vine, and my Father is a husbandman. Every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away, and every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth it, that it may bring forth more fruit. Now ye are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. Abide in me, and I in you. As the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine. No more can ye, except ye abide in me. I am the vine, ye are the branches. He that abideth in me, and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me ye can do nothing. If a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch, and is withered. And man gather them, and cast them into the fire, and they are burned. If ye abide in me, and my words abide in you, ye shall ask what ye will, and it shall be done unto you. Herein is my Father glorified, that ye bear much fruit. So shall ye be my disciples. As the Father hath loved me, so have I loved you. Continue ye in my love. If ye keep my commandments, ye shall abide in my love, even as I have kept my Father's commandments, and abide in his love. These things have I spoken unto you, that my joy might remain in you, and that your joy might be full. This is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you.
Thank you, Brother Garen. So, I would like to call this passage the secret to fruitfulness. Jesus said, I am the vine, and my father is the husbandman or vine dresser, which means gardener. But he's not just any gardener. He's very skilled. He's patient with his vine, his trees, and his branches, which we become. In this particular passage here, when we say the vine, why did Jesus say, I'm the true vine? Well, we have to go back to Israel. Israel was a symbol as a vine. That was their symbol because there were poems. For example, Psalms chapter 80, verses 8 talks about where he planted them as a vine, and they called them out of Egypt. Hosea 10 chapter 1 talks about he planted them as a luxurious vine, and they became wild, and they disobeyed him, and they went away from him. They didn't stay connected to him. So right before Jesus was crucified, he was telling the disciples how to be a disciple, how to continue to love me, even though I'm leaving, and where I'm going, you cannot come. It must have been a look of confusion on the disciples' face, because everything that they believed in, everything they hoped in, was leaving them. So when we look at that, we say to ourselves, what happens when things leave us? We feel like our world is coming apart. We feel like things, what do we do? Which direction do we turn in? Where do we go? So on their way to the Mount Olive, they came across a garden called Gethsemane. And it was a vineyard, and he told them, for I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine dresser. He said, every branch of me that does not bear fruit, he takes away. And every branch of me that bears fruit, he prunes. So what does that mean? That means, as the vine dresser, he comes along, he digs up the grass, he digs up the dirt, he fertilizes the dirt. He looks at his plant, he says, hey, it's becoming wild. I see that the branch is growing shoots. What are shoots? Shoots are the grape hangs from, that when you eat the grape, that's what you're pulling off, is a shoot. So to the untrained eye, we will look at that and we will say to ourselves, oh, that looks great. But God he's very skilled at what he does. So he says, no, that's not good. That's not going to bear any fruit. So he cuts it and he takes it away. So for the disciples that do believe, that are bearing fruit, that begins to abide, that confesses Jesus as the Son, he begins to work with them. He begins to prune them. He shapes us to glorify him and what he has for us. And it's not going to be easy. It's going to hurt. Just like that vine is alive, so are we. Just like the branch is alive, anything in that vine is alive, so are we. Anything that becomes attached to us, that cuts from us spiritually, it's going to hurt. But that's okay, because God calls it to work for his good, if to those who believe and stay connected, to abide. If we look at Galatians chapter 2, verse 20, Jesus says, I have been crucified with Christ. Paul says, I have been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. In the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself up for me. Paul was saying to them, how selfish can we be sometimes when God gives us things and we don't realize that we're not giving him credit. We turn away from him. We lose connection, and he be so patient with us that we don't even recognize that he's still giving us fruit because he loves us and we're connected to him. But we can bear much fruit. He says that I come that you bear fruit, but that you bear fruit even more. So we can bear fruit, but we can bear more fruit? Yes. John 8:31 says, so Jesus was saying to those Jews who had believed in him, if you continue in my word, then you are truly disciples of mine. John 15 verse 8 says, for then truly you will know you are my disciples. Well, how do we know, Lord, that we are truly your disciples? We are truly following you. He says, by the fruit that you bear. When you say fruit, oh, by the things that I do on the outside, by the spirit, by the flesh? No. He's talking about the fruit of the spirit. So you ask me, you say, what is the fruit of the spirit? We're going to get to that just in a minute. Colossians 2, verse 6 says, therefore, as you have received Christ Jesus as Lord, so walk in him. So abide means God wants to come place his home inside of you. That means when you confess and you believe that Jesus is the Son of God, God says, okay, I hear you. Okay, let me come down here and check on him and see what's going on. Let me see if he really believes what he just confessed. Let me see if I can place myself inside him. He is inside you, and you're abiding to him, but what are you connected to other than him? What are you attached to? He said once you believe and you're baptized, the seal is done. That seal cannot be broken. So you are connected, just like the branch right here on this tree. This branch will only leave this tree, but don't get it twisted. That branch still could die and fall off. But by not being connected, by not washing yourself daily in the Word. So he told him back in John 8:31, how do we stay connected? He says by staying true to my teachings, by following, by walking with me, by talking to me. That's how we stay true. And then we do it. And then we apply it. So what's the fruit? Galatians 5, chapter 20. Galatians chapter 5, verse 22-23. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. Well, what does that mean? That means that if you walk in those things, can't nothing touch you. Can't nothing touch you. Christ is in you. He wants to fill you up completely, be inside you. And you're not walking in love, peace, patience, goodness, self-control. You're not abiding. You're losing connection. You're dying. You're withering. You're going to eventually be dried up. They're going to come gather you. Who is they? The angels. The angels are going to gather you and throw you into a fire. See, we don't understand what Jesus was saying. I don't even think fully the disciples understood right then and there what Jesus was saying. But he knew that they couldn't understand because he said, I have not yet ascended to the heavens for me to send the gift back to you so you can access the connection that I have with you. Yes, I have a flesh connection with you right now, but I want to give you a spiritual connection, which is the Holy Spirit. So it is better that I die before you. John was a disciple. Matthew 14, chapter 4, verses 20, 21 and 22. He says, Jesus was walking across the Sea of Galilee. He saw James and John on the boat. They dropped their nets and they followed him immediately. There wasn't no questions. There wasn't no... They felt something good about that, man. They said, hey, I will make you fishers of men. I will make you fishers of men as long as you abide in me. There are things that I can do with you that you didn't even know that you had inside. But all along, if you continue to abide in me, I was training you. When I was at the shelter, when I was homeless, I started picking up my Bible. There was all these different things around me that I knew. I said, hey man, there's too much darkness in here. There's a lot going on. I said, I need God. And I said, I know he's the only one who's going to protect me. He's my nourishment. He's going to keep me safe. He's the light. So I knew that. But how did I know that? I knew that from my parents. My parents, my grandparents, they were abiding. And because they were abiding and because somebody was praying for me, every time that I lost connectivity, I was still connected because somebody was praying for me. So I'm reading. People coming up to me, they see me reading, they start reading, then they start coming up to me, hey, I've been reading this passage, what does the Bible say about this? What does God say about this? And I wanted so much to share that with them, but I always didn't have the answer. See, we don't want to take the Bible out of context of what God is saying to us and we give our own answers. See, we got to realize, we got to be careful of expectations, especially of others, and especially of Christ. See, when Christ says who he is, and he leaves it at that, we want to expect, oh, Christ means this, or Christ means no. No. It means to love. It means to have unity. So if we're Christians, we're Christ, we're true believers, we're in the vine, when we go to church and we become the body of Christ, who we become? The vine itself. The vine is connected to the whole tree. It bears the branch, it bears the fruit, it bears the leaves, it's the whole thing. He wants to become you, the whole thing. He don't want no darkness inside of you because darkness cannot enter the kingdom. Romans 8, chapter 9 and 10 says, however, you are not in the flesh, but in the spirit. If indeed the Spirit of God dwells in you, but if anyone does not have the Spirit of Christ, he does not belong to him. If Christ is in you, though the body is dead because of sin, yet the spirit is alive because of righteousness. So, when we get ready to leave and we want to make up our own mind that this is what we're going to do, and we're not praying and giving God his support and his glory and his credit of God, what do you want me to do? What is that you want me to do? Even though I'm over here and I'm attached to these things, he says that I am still righteous, that I will lift you because you keep coming back to me. You keep abiding in me. Don't worry about where you're at right now. Worry about that you're still abiding in me. Because I will change you. It's not your job to change you. It's my job to change you. And it's going to hurt. The more you are detached from me, the more you want to grow outside of me. I got to cut all that out of there. I got to rake the leaves up out of there. You know, sometimes we can't sweep around our own door. It's up to him to do it, but we got to allow him to do it. We got to allow him to prune us. We got to allow him to enter us. We have free will still, yet and still, we still have free will. Derek, you gonna let me in? Oh, you're not ready yet, huh? Okay. It's okay, because one day I'm gonna come, and I'm gonna cut, and I'm gonna prune. Look at Israel. Israel's in the wilderness for 40 years. Sometimes the vine dresser will wait 40 years and be patient before he decides to come and say, hey, it's time for me to cut back and let them prune, let their fruit grow, let it harvest. Okay, so when we talk about the fruit, we say, okay, you look at the tree, oranges, apples, things like that. He's not talking about of the natural. He's talking about the spirit. So when we say fruit, we mean everlasting fruit that will never die. those 9 things that I said about the Spirit, that's who he is. He once again was revealing who he was in the Spirit. So when we look at those 9 things, when he comes to prune us, he's coming to prune those 9 things so that we can continue to grow. So that as we grow, it's not us walking anymore, but who? Christ. So you say, dang, I'm gonna get pruned. That don't sound too good. I don't know if I wanna go through that. Well, here's the benefits. One, what's the benefits of abiding in Christ, you say? One, you get to be called his disciple. What's a disciple? It's a follower, it's someone, but in Jesus' case, he was saying as a slave to a master. He said, no longer will I consider you a master to a slave or a slave to a master, but now I call you my friend. You're my friend. I want to reveal things to you as I would sit and talk with my friend and share personal things with my friend. He wants to do the same with you. But you don't know. You ask him why. You don't want to serve a God who sees cool. Look at the world today around us. Why would God do this to me? No, he's not doing it to you. He's doing it for you. And he's doing it through you. But we don't see it. You'll be glorifying God. Anything that you ask for, it will be given to you. But check this out, here's the catch. You say, oh, God give me the desires of my heart. Yes, Psalms 34, verse 4. God will give you the desires of your heart. But what's the catch? The desires of your heart comes with something. It comes with still abiding in his word, according to his will. If you got the desires of his heart, of your heart, of his heart, then he lives in you. So that means it's no longer you or what you want, it's what he wants. And you're like, wow, man, this is going to be a pretty tough battle for me to face. Yeah, it is, but it's worth it. In the end, Christ gets all the glory. God gets all the glory. He was the perfect example. Israel was negative, negative, negative. Fail, fail, fail. Just like the vine dresser. When it cuts a branch, guess who replaces that branch? Another branch. See, God's not done. If you don't do it, he'll raise somebody else up. So you get up there and you do it. Don't be discouraged. His disciples was becoming to be discouraged, so he gave them words of encouragement. I am the true vine. And my Father is the vine dresser. Abide in me. Matthew 6:33 says, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things will be added to you. What's added? The fruit, understanding, reveal, secrets, hidden things of the kingdom of God, the beatitudes. And 2 points here, he told you who I am and what you got to do in order to follow me as the disciples did. So 1 John 5:14 says, and this is the confidence that we have toward him, that if we ask anything according to his will, he hears us. And if we know that he hears us in whatever we ask, we know that we have the request that we have asked of him. There is no doubt in my mind that when I pray that God is going to answer my prayer. Whether he opens that door or whether he shuts that door, glory be to God. Whether it hurts me or it makes me feel good, glory be to God. I'm still going to abide. There is nothing that can separate me from the love of God. He said it himself. But why don't I listen? Why do I lose connection? Verse 11 talks about when Christ is in us, we become full. There is a joy inside of us that will remain no matter what. When Christ is inside of us. I said it earlier. Can nothing touch us. We can walk, we can allow it to touch us. We can do anything that we want to do. But what we have to do is wash ourselves daily. Paul says to have a clear conscience. That means don't let it bother you, because once it does, it starts to stir up your soul. You say, oh, God says, guard your heart. What's your heart? It's not this physical thing right here. It's right here. Don't let things get inside of your mind, because when it does, God can't enter, because sin is there. You got to let it go and give it to Him. God, thank you, Jesus. John 15:16 said, you did not choose me, I have chose you to bear much fruit. He chooses to ordain us to go and bear fruit that remains. He chooses to use and promote those bearing the fruit because it glorifies Him. So I say, okay, I'm going to still be out here attached to this world. I'm going to still be doing the things that I want to do. And God is, yeah, I believe in Him. Yeah, I'm still going to read the Word. But guess what? If He used me, He do. If He don't, He don't. Okay, for example, I say, Lord, I'm very talented. I want to do acting. He says, Derek, is that what I want? Or is that what you want? He says, Derek, will it glorify me? Are you in it for you? Or you are in it for me? Are you going to do it for you? Or are you going to do it for me? God will give it to you as long as it lines up with what He wants. It's not about you. When we're in congregation, we say, and we're at communion, and He say, examine yourselves. That's exactly what He's talking about. Are you living for Christ, or are you living for you?
You doing? You're doing great.
John 15:6 says, we'll be saved and not thrown away. They will come and gather them. I sit up here and I think the more that I learn this, the more that I study, the more Jesus reveals to me, the more God reveals to me. I get kind of sad because everybody's not going to listen. Everybody's not going to hear. He says that clearly. I have chosen you. Before you were in your mother's womb, before your mother was born, I knew you. I was with you. I was talking to you. But guess what? You don't remember because you were born of the flesh. You're no longer the spirit, as I once intended you to be. So, Christ died for us on the cross. John 3:16 says, for God gave His only begotten Son, that those who believe in Him should not perish, but have everlasting life. That's always. That's today. That's right now. We're not looking for a Jesus of an exterior. He's not of a God of outside things. He's not a God of worldly things. He's a God of spiritual things. That means inside. He didn't look at the outside. He already knew. James, son of Zebedee. Nathaniel, who prays to me under the fig tree. Huh? Could you imagine someone saying that to you? About personal things that you never shared to anyone and he knew? I bet you would believe. But the point is to continue to abide. He says, I will never leave you nor forsake you. We leave Him. Check this out. This is what God showed me. Judas was a branch. Judas was a branch. Jesus loved Judas as a friend, as his brother. He told him, do what you got to do. He still made a choice to do that. He didn't force him. Judas still had a choice. Judas removed himself as a branch. Judas was dying. He was letting Satan get into him. And eventually, he got up and betrayed Jesus. But Peter said, Lord, I'm with you to the end. I I died for you. He said, sure, before the rooster crows, you deny me 3 times. See, the pride comes before the fall. When you start exalting yourself above God, he come to prove. He come to say, hold on, let me sit my son down. Let me sit my daughter down. You know, when I was in jail, people want to come in to church. You know what they want? That's the first thing they do, is run to Jesus. But guess what? See, at first I was ashamed of that. Oh man, they fake. You know what I'm saying? They ain't true. Yeah, in the world you want to go, but in jail you want to come. But guess what God showed me? He said they're connected. I have a calling for them. No matter what they do or what you see, it's not about you, it's about me. So, here it is. We didn't come here just to live. Luke chapter 2 verse 49 talks about Jesus when he was 12 years old. He would sit under his teacher and he would learn. I wouldn't say he would learn, but I would say he would speak with them. And his mother left him for a whole day. So they're in Jerusalem, they're leaving the temple. His mother leaves him for a whole day. How do you not realize that as you're traveling today, your child's not with you? That shows me right there he was very quiet. That I thought they was, I was with them. So, as they come back, they're like, oh, we love Jesus. And they get back to the Jerusalem and they asking around. Still 3 more days. Couldn't find him. So then, his mother finds him as a child to a mother, or a mother to a child. Where have you been? How could you do me like this? You know what Jesus says? Did you not know that I will be in my Father's house? Even at 12 years old, he said, I can't leave him. I need him. He's perfect. He's good. He's a perfect Israel. He's the true vine. He's the true Israel. He's not fake. He's the true disciple. He's walking. He's showing you how to be perfect. But you can't do it alone. So the call is simple. If you haven't been saved and you're an unbeliever, if you never confessed Jesus Christ as your Father, because he is God, natural deity of God. He was God, he became God in the flesh. John 1:1 says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and God became the Word. And the flesh became the Word. So, we would like to invite this invitation to you to come to the North Side Church of Christ on Columbia Avenue. If we have time to do it today, you want to get baptized today, I will baptize you personally myself or one of the brothers here. We would love to do that. If you are a Christian and disciple, a true believer of the Son, if you need to come forward and repent, now is the time to do so. The call is yours. Thank you.